I spend a lot of time training muscles. I spend a lot of time training qualities. One thing I do not think about in all of that is my breathing, but there are a lot of benefits I can get out of my breathing too. That's why we are here at the Red Bull Performance Camp with Kirk Kroc of Performance Freediving. You're going to teach me a couple breathing drills and ways to optimize my lungs, get more performance out of myself that way, and maybe relax a little bit too, right?
Our lungs are balloons trapped inside of cages. Our lungs have the ability to expand more than the cage, than the ribs and the muscles and that allow. So how do we increase that? By doing certain training and stretching routines specific to freediving, we can increase our lung volume really easy up to 15% and more.
There are some discernible benefits in terms of red blood cell count too when you get really good, right?
We know that in trained breath holders within 1 minute of their breath hold that the spleen will compress by 20%, pushing more red blood cells into the circulatory system. So that's like a natural form of doping, blood doping, right?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who runs a lot of sprints and strength trains and does way more CrossFit than I want to admit, I could definitely use that red blood cell benefit. So the only thing is we have to do this very carefully how we train it, right? I can't do this all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely a level of risk. We're holding our breath. We're going through a level of hypoxia, a varying degree of lack of oxygen. That could potentially get to the point where we can't make the decision to come on up. And that could be a fatal thing if you were doing it by yourself in a pool. So this is something we always do with a trained buddy, knowing what the procedures are and what to look for, the hazards, and as well as how to do it properly is really important.
Exactly, so let's partner up, let's get into this, and I'm gonna try to get my Aquaman on. So we've got 3 drills we're gonna go through. The first one is the ventilation drill.
This is really great for focus control and stress and just kind of getting yourself back into your headspace and your game, as well as calming you down and relaxing you, because it's really about lowering the heart rate over those course of breaths or the minutes that you're breathing like that. So it's pause at the bottom for 2 seconds, pause at the top, and then that slow 10-second exhale, and we call that a ventilation cycle.
So that's the ventilation drill. Breathe in, hold for a second, make sure it's in my belly, breathe out for 10 seconds, and then just repeat that. Probably like 2 to 3 minutes of that, right?
Yeah.
And then next up, we have the purge, which just reminds me of the movie, but what's going on here?
Right, yeah. High intensity exercises, you accumulate carbon dioxide. That's why you're breathing heavy. So if you breathe with more intention, to get rid of the CO2, that's gonna prep you and get you ready for the next exercise. What we're doing in purging, we're taking a breath into upper chest, but nice and relaxed, and then we're exhaling for about 4 seconds. Like if I was to flicker a birthday candle lit at arm's length, I wouldn't blow so hard as to blow it out. And what we're doing is really just trying to move a little bit of the CO2 in the alveoli so that we can get a little comfortable, a little longer breath hold, but not affect blood acidity so it negatively impacts the red blood cells' ability to let go of oxygen.
And this one felt different for me too, because I know on the ventilation breaths, I'm trying to breathe through my belly, and then you tell me to start incorporating my chest in the purges. Why is that?
Yeah, what we're trying to do is get more volume in. So we're trying to remove CO2 by getting a bigger volume in at the same time as moving the rate of that volume. So by going from diaphragm into lower, into upper chest, that gives us more volume in which to get rid of to move the CO2 out.
Got it. So that is my breath in between my 100-meter sprint intervals or anytime I'm doing anything CrossFit. I'm going to use that.
The last thing we're going to do is what we call a peak inhalation, and that's simply going to fill the tank up, right? And we're going to go from the diaphragm, the lower to upper chest. We're going to actually engage the shoulders and the neck as well, trying to get as much volume into our lungs. It's our main fuel tank, as opposed to whales, seals, and dolphins, where all of the oxygen they need on a dive is going to be in the blood and in the myoglobin within the muscle tissue. So as much as we can fill the lungs up, that's going to be what's going to hold us through the length of that breath hold.
And what am I aiming for? What should we aim for when we think about this? On some level, I guess it's going to be very personal to everybody, but what's a good goal for most people to think about?
Done in a safe way with a buddy or, dry, just lying down at home type thing. A 2-minute breath hold is a really good, solid breath hold in which to base the foundations that you would work from there.
On my initial breath hold, As soon as I got there, I was like, I can't do this. This doesn't feel normal. But then with each successive hold, I guess I was able to push into something, started to feel my abs contract. And then you were saying that's not a bad thing when your abs contract, and I can push through that a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to be the diaphragm trying to get you to signal you that you need to take a breath. You need to get rid of this carbon dioxide. You need to bring your pH back to normal within your blood. Everyone's going to go through it. It's normal. It's how we respond to it, and it's how the body over training and volume of training, it's how the body then changes and adapts to that response that's going on that we're really trying to program.
Got it. I was able to get up to 2 minutes, but only on land. In the water, it was not pretty.
Breath holding is part of our primal fears. It's fear of falling, being eaten, and this one's suffocation, right? So water can be the thing that helps or it hinders.
How long and how consistently will I have to do this in order to kind of better that 2 minutes, maybe get to like a 2:30?
Well, I'd say 2:30 is right around the corner for you. I think even right now, if we were to do, another half an hour of breathing and breath holds, we could very easily get you to that one. Initially getting into it, doing dry, safe breath holds a couple times a week is good, and it will stimulate the response and the changes that we want in the body.
Exactly, and obviously complement all the strength training, complement all the sprint work, complement all that. So what did you say the world record is right now?
11 minutes 35.
11:35. So give me a couple millennia so I can catch that. But thank you for the lessons, because until then I can implement this to make my workouts better, to keep myself calm. We have a lot of meetings, and get myself more relaxed, which is never a bad thing. So try out these drills, everyone.